If y'all watching the replay, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna give it a few seconds, a few minutes before I begin. As you can see, I'm in my vehicle. You can see the title. And oftentimes while I'm sitting in my vehicle, I get inspired by ideas. Like I be sitting here, I don't have no music on. I be reading and just chilling, waiting on some Grubhub orders and whatnot. And sometimes a thought just sparks in my mind, like talk about this subject, or I'll see something that inspires me. Like I'll be out, I'm out and about, and I see something that inspires me. So what inspires me now with this subject matter is I'm seeing some workers, movers. They're moving furniture into a house or from a house. And of course, they are not of this hue, That's just the reality. But I'm gonna give it a few seconds, y'all. So, we're almost there. Let the YouTube send out my make some magic in this thing right here. YouTube, go ahead and send out my notifications. But look, man, as you can see by the title of this video, is that we have to realize right now that, and look at my videos, y'all. Look at my old video. I've been touching on this subject for a while, but we got to realize that the problem is we can go back 50, 60 years. We can go back to the history of America, and I'm pretty sure everybody has learned about slavery and how they enslaved black people, how they kept black people in segregation, how they had all these laws against black Americans, foundational black Americans. I'm pretty sure if you take any history class in this country, whether in high school, whether in college, they're gonna tell you about this history of slavery and how they enslaved black people and forced them to work. They forced them to work. It wasn't a choice. It was either work or get whipped. It's either work or get unalived. So my ancestors didn't really have a choice in the matter. And as time progressed and they outlawed slavery on the books, but it was still a system like a system where blacks were to be the servant class and whites were to be the class to be served. That system still existed even after they outlawed slavery legally, but we were still made to be that servant class. If you want to see, there's a lot of movies out that depicts that. One movie is The Help. The Help shows how we were that servant class, right? But when we were that servant class, we were unwilling servants. We were unwilling. Like we've been in this country for hundreds of years. We felt that we've already been on the bottom so long, and now we were eager to move up. We wanted to get educated. We wanted to educate our children. We wanted to go to college and schools and better ourselves so that we can be qualified for more of a better class, not so much of the servant class. Though we realize the dynamics of this country, though we realize the white supremacy is real, we still aspired for more. We just didn't want to remain a servant class. And this became a problem for us because the them folks, you know, the white race don't want that. Never, they don't want that. They didn't want that. They was like, the nerve of these Negroes to think that, what's up? The nerve of these Negroes to think that they shouldn't be our servants no more. The nerve of these Negroes to think that they shouldn't be in their place no more as our servants. The nerve of them to want to get into corporate America with us. So they put up all type of barriers to keep us out. You know, they put up all type of discrimination things to keep us out because we wanted to aspire for more. We were tired of just being the servant class, right? So we became unwilling servants, telling the truth. Good God, thank you. We became unwilling servants. Shout out to you in the chat. And they were like, yo, YouTube kind of hating on me. Yo, YouTube kind of hating on me, man. YouTube hating on me. I don't know what's going on. YouTube hating on me. I don't know why YouTube hating on me. This is history. YouTube, this is history. I'm giving a history. Okay, I think YouTube got me up out of there. But I'm giving a history lesson. So YouTube, this is education. This is educational. But where I was at is, shout out to you, Nana Shar Sing Around. If I'm saying your name incorrectly, forgive me. But we became the servant. I love y'all too. We became the servant, the unwilling servant class. So the white folks is like, what are we gonna do about this? Like these Negroes, they don't want to be our servants no more willingly. Like we had to do what we had to do. Like if you look at the movie The Help, and I can't think of another movie right now, but you know, our grandmothers and our great grandmothers and our fathers, grandfathers and great grandfathers, they had to do what they had to do. They had a family to feed, right? So we had to do those jobs, but we were unwilling. We wanted more overall. So the white folks is like, well, listen, we're gonna have to do something about this because, you know, these Negroes are becoming uppity. You know, they're becoming uppity. And so they said, we got a solution to that. Like, what did we do back in the 1700s and the 1800s? What do we do back in the 1500s? So when they were bringing over, you know, our ancestors, right, and the ones that are already here, they also brought some white ones too. They brought some white folks too. They called them the indentured servants. These were, you know, white people that volunteered to come over here, like the Irish and I believe like, you know, the Scottish, basically the non-Brits, the non-UK, those non-ones, right? They came over and they were called indentured servants. And they were to work a certain amount of time. And once they worked they contract, they were free to go off, and they took advantage of those land grants that they gave to white folks. They were able to take advantage of all that. We weren't, right? But so they said, hey, we can do that now, but we can do that with a different group of people. So they said, let's open up the floodgates and let's bring in all these people from South Central America. Let's bring in, you know, later on, because they were later, let's bring in not only those, but let's bring in some from the continent of Africa. And some white people was like, well, if we bring in some people from the continent of Africa, won't that work against us by making the black numbers bigger? And they said, no, don't worry. They colonized. They not gonna be on code with the black folks here. We gonna make sure we vet them. and we're gonna make sure we bring it over the right ones, the coon class. That's what they said. So they vet them. Why they still in the continent of Africa? They ask them the questions. They tell them, hey, when you get over there, you stay away from them black Americans. Don't you go around them black Americans and let them get into your mind. You know what I'm saying? Never listen to the bad people that say you should quit. Chase your dream for sure. So never quit YouTube. I won't. I have an ego but I'm here with show. Everybody sub. Thank you. So they vet them. They said, okay, bring them over, but because they're not going to unite with the black Americans. They're not going to join any of their causes. Matter of fact, they're going to they're going to turn against them, and we're going to be able to use them against the black Americans. And so they brought all these individuals, different groups over here, non-white groups, and these became the willing servant class. They are now the willing servant class. I have to leave. Bye-bye. Peace out. Peace out to you. They became the willing servant class. And this is the situation that is happening right now all over the U.S. These people are happy and more than willing to be servants. Why? Because they come from a mindset of colonization. They come from a mindset of white idealization. They come from this. They come ready. They come prepared. So for them, getting over here and working as a gardener, getting over here and unloading trucks, getting over here and being the nannies to watch the rich white babies. This is a come up for them because all they want, you should be president. Nah, I don't want to be no president. All they want for them is a come up. They're happy just to have a smartphone. You know, they say, yeah, I got, the latest smartphone. They happy just to have that, right? They happy to have a car note. As long as they can have a nice car and they happy to have a car note. To them, that's a come up. That's a come up for them. They happy to go to the taco stand and get some tacos and all that stuff. That's a come up for them. It's not enough. It don't take enough to please them. And so they're happy. Long as they have access to their smartphones, long as they have access to have their car notes, long as they can go get them an apartment and 10 of them get up in there, 10 of them live up in there in that one apartment, they're happy. They're a happy, willing servant class. And black Americans, foundational black Americans, our ancestors who built this country, we're not a happy, willing, we're no longer, and we never was, that willing servant class. We want what's owed to us. We want what we feel we deserve. We want what we know that our ancestors were used to help to build the wealth of this country. And even when they was trying to free us, they was trying to, let me put that in quote marks. They said, we just can't let them go. At least we got to give them 40 acres and a mule. That was a white male saying that. I don't know his name, but what was that white male saying? 40 acres and a mule was the wealth back then. But what he was saying is we can't just free these people and they don't have nothing. Like they're gonna always be at the bottom if we just free them and we don't give them nothing, because there's no way that they're gonna be able to build wealth. There's no way that they're gonna be able to become prosperous as a people if we don't give them something to start with, because they already took all the wealth. The folks had acquired all the wealth and they had a big ass head start. And so now they all were smart because they were able to do what they did. But some of those that said, hey, we can't just let them go with nothing. We got to do something. We got to give them something. So let me read some of this comment. I have to leave. Shout out. Hey, are you going to go live every day? Yeah, I'm gonna go when I have I just want to just go live, just to go live. You know, I want to go when, you know, as I said in the beginning of the video, when I'm inspired with the thought, you know, but as I was saying, they there are now non-whites in this country who are the willing servant class. And now that they are the willing servant class, the folks have solved their problem. They have solved their problem. They found a group of people that is not going to protest, is not going to ask for better. Well, they do protests here and there, you know. Let me not be, you know, dishonest, but they're not gonna go hard like FBA is went hard. They're not gonna go hard like us because they're just happy to be here. They're just happy to be unloading the trucks. They're just happy to be the DoorDash delivery drivers. They're just happy to be pushing the white babies down the street while they got 5 or 6 children of their own at home that they don't get to see. They're happy with that. As long as they have access to their smartphones, as long as they have access to their car notes, they happy with that. And the folks know that. So where that puts us at is in a situation where we're gonna have to do for ourselves. Well, we've been having to do. We've been had to be on that type of vibe or type of hype. Well, we're gonna have to codify, and we're gonna have to build. We're gonna have to go back to the Freeman era. You know, when they let us out of in bondage and slavery, and look at all the black towns we built. And even though they destroyed them, they sabotaged them. You know, the Black Wall Streets and all in North Carolina, all the black enclaves that we built in segregation, in the most hostile environment, we're gonna have to go back to that. Because that's the only way that we gonna save ourselves. They not gonna save us. No one's gonna come to save us. And we can't wait, and we can't depend on reparations, you know, to save our situation. Yeah, you know, we should not stop fighting for it. We should not stop, but we shouldn't expect that to be the thing that's going to save us. No, we have to save ourselves. That's the only way. You know, it's not gonna happen, you know, with the government being because they haven't. So I don't want to get, you know, I don't want to go too further on while I'm just rumbling, but all these groups, especially, that's I got an order. I'm in Southern California, and we have a large population from the Hispanic community, and I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying, I'm just seeing it for what it really is. You know, they are a willing servant class, and they're happy about being that class. They say, hey, we replace these Negroes or Mayates, whatever they call us, and they happy with that. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the ones that come from the continent of Africa. They got all type of names for us, and they happy being they happy doing what they doing and being a servant class. We're not happy being a servant class because we've been here in this country for long enough, and we tired of just being that. We want more than just being a servant class. We actually want wealth. We want power. We want to live like these white folks living out here in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and what else are whenever I be thinking about these rich enclaves, I always get tied up. But we want what they got. We want more than what they got. We want something for ourselves. We don't just want to be servants no more. So with that being said, y'all make sure y'all like the video, subscribe video. Shout out to you, man. I'm about to sign off. But if you want to watch the playback, go ahead and watch the playback, because I got to get back to work. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all subscribe, and check out some of my other videos, and I will holler at y'all later. Peace.